Hi, I'm Tom Kuhn. I'm the Vice President for Agricultural Programs at Oklahoma State University, and I'm pleased here today to welcome you to this training program on environmental law enforcement. We're really pleased to be partners with the Oklahoma Department of Environmental Quality in putting this program together, but we also depend on a lot of others. Oklahoma is a very complicated place when it comes to jurisdictions. Of course, we have state law that's important, but we also have 39 federally recognized tribes, each with their own sets of environmental laws and regulations, and then we have federal reservations and others. And so it really requires a lot of people working together to ensure that we have the kind of protection that we need for the tremendous environment that we have in Oklahoma. So we're pleased to partner with the Oklahoma DEQ, the many sovereign nations, and many other agencies that are a part of this program, and hope that you find it useful as you prepare to carry out your duties.
Hello, I'm Michael Freeman of the Oklahoma Department of Environmental Quality's Criminal Investigation Unit. As law enforcement officers, we're sworn to uphold the law and to protect the safety of our citizens. This is an awesome responsibility that we take very seriously. One of the most difficult challenges we have is the increasing role in protecting citizens from environmental hazards. Every citizen has the right to clean air, clean water, and a clean environment in which to live. As officers, it is our responsibility to ensure that citizens enjoy these rights by enforcing the laws designed to protect them. To do so, we must be aware of the environmental laws and learn to recognize potential violations associated with them. I urge you to study each of the scenarios presented in this video. By understanding the situations, the hazards involved with each, and the actions of the law enforcement officers, you will be better prepared to handle any situation that you might encounter. Please note that the law enforcement responses to these situations might be unique to Oklahoma law and might not be pertinent to another jurisdiction. Contact your state environmental agency to find out what statutes would apply in specific situations and to work with others in enforcing these very important statutes.
Hi everyone, I'm Kevin Ogle. As a longtime news person and native Oklahoman, we all want to make sure that our natural resources in this state stay just that, natural. In this video, you'll be seeing scenarios where police officers and other law enforcement will be confronted with potentially harmful, hazardous situations. The idea of this video is to train police officers about the criminal activities involved with environmental pollution. This scenario involves some 55-gallon drums abandoned in a remote location. Let's see what happens in this particular situation.
Well, thanks for coming.
Hey, no problem.
You can see why I called you out here.
Okay. Can I get your name?
Shelley Mitchell. And I just live right up there. But I was riding my horse this morning and found that.
Okay. And you have any idea where those barrels came from?
Well, they weren't here yesterday morning, so they either came like last night or early this morning. But I did see a van drive by, and there's hardly anybody who drives up and down this road. So at first I was suspicious, but then the van looked official, so I didn't really think anything of it.
Okay. Can you describe the van for me?
It was white, and on the side it said like Star Environmental in red letters.
Okay. And did you see the people inside the van?
I saw two guys, the driver and a passenger. They're both in the front. They're both guys, white guys.
Okay.
The driver had like a mustache and a beard.
And about what time do you think this was?
Probably about 5:30 or 6 last night.
All right.
You know what's in those things?
No. What I'll do is I'll contact an investigator. Let me get your phone number.
555-3359.
Okay. I'm going to have an investigator come out and take a look and get with the Department of Environmental Quality and have an expert come out and really look at this and figure out what's going on. And hopefully we can catch these guys.
One of the ways to store or transport hazardous waste is in 55-gallon drums. The proper way to dispose of those drums is to take them to an authorized disposal facility and pay to have them processed. The key word here is pay. Many individuals will avoid the expense of legal disposal by abandoning waste in secluded rural areas. Many times the drums are punctured in transport or deteriorate with age. The result is that hazardous waste ends up in the soil or water in these environmentally sensitive areas. If you see any of these drums while you're on patrol, investigate further. You may save that area from any environmental harm. In this scenario, an officer is responding to a tenant-landlord dispute. The renter of a small warehouse has mysteriously departed the area, leaving behind a parting gift.
Oh, hi, officer. I'm so glad to see you. As long as I've owned this building, I've never seen a mess like this, ever.
What seems to be the problem?
Well, I have this tenant. I've had him for quite some time now. Never been a problem. No need to ever bother him. And then all of a sudden he stopped paying the rent. And I tried to call him. The phone was disconnected. And now the rent is due again for the second time with no money. And I need the money. This is my property and I need it taken care of.
Okay. What would you like me to do?
Well, would you like to see this mess?
Sure. Can we open it up?
There you go.
Oh, wow. Hazardous waste. Okay.
Yeah. So what are you going to do about
Well,
it?
ma'am, let's step away from here and let me make some calls and we'll go from there.
Okay.
Officer 2 to dispatch. Will you dispatch hazmat and fire department out to my location and also contact environmental investigator and have them respond to our location as well?
Unfortunately, this type of situation happens all too often throughout our country. A company will rent a storage facility and store chemicals and waste products there. Then after a while, the company disappears or files for bankruptcy, leaving the landlord with hazardous waste in his facility. Just like burying, dumping, or draining them into a waterway, this practice is an attempt to avoid paying the price for proper hazardous waste disposal. The unpermitted storage of hazardous waste is a felony violation of state and federal law. Always be on the lookout for any type of abandoned drums, whatever the location. Warehouses aren't the only place that tenants can leave their waste. Small storage sheds can also hide a big problem.
Man, what am I going to do with all this stuff? It's going to cost me a ton to get rid of.
Sir, how can I help you?
I come out here, I hadn't been paid on this the last 3 months. I leased it out 6 months ago. Then I come out here and this is what I got.
Well, I'm glad you called because to store over 50 of these is a crime. We'll have to get a hold of DEQ, and then we'll see if we can get an investigator out here to investigate the tenant. If you have any information on him.
Yes, I have name, number, it's in the office, and possibly a video, if I can go that far back.
Yeah,
Yes.
okay. Well, I'll need to get that information from you
I only saw him once, but
just once.
I really don't remember what he looks like.
In Oklahoma, a fee is collected and sent to the Oklahoma Tax Commission on the purchase of every new tire. That fee pays for the proper recycling of the waste tires that come off of the vehicle by properly permitted haulers and recyclers. However, many unscrupulous tire shops don't collect the waste tire fee, often because they're operating on a cash basis and aren't reporting all their income, and thus those tires never make it into the recycling system. Instead, the dealers have to find a cheap way to get rid of the tires themselves, often by paying someone to dump them illegally or dumping them illegally themselves. These tires end up along county roads or abandoned or vacant lots or in wooded areas, sometimes in piles consisting of 1,000 or more tires. This poses several hazards. Waste tires are the perfect breeding ground for mosquitoes. The tires collect and hold rainwater. The black color absorbs the heat from the sun, and the metal inside the tire holds that heat. That wet, warm environment can cause a proliferation of mosquitoes, and that can cause the spread of life-threatening diseases like West Nile virus and Zika. Waste tires also pose a fire hazard. Once started, tires burn easily, and such fires are very difficult to extinguish. The smoke from these fires carries toxins that are harmful to people. In this case, a hauler rented a storage unit, filled it with waste tires, and then abandoned it, probably to avoid disposal costs. In Oklahoma, such storage involving more than 50 waste tires requires a permit and storage without a permit is a misdemeanor. If you see these waste tires while on patrol, investigate further and contact the Department of Environmental Quality. In this scenario, an officer on routine patrol encounters a van that's being driven erratically. Let's watch and see what happens when he makes this stop.
Hello, I'm Officer Spellman with the Moore Police Department. Need to see your license and insurance.
Oh, hi.
You okay?
Oh, no. Feel
What's the matter?
dizzy and got a headache.
Grab your license and insurance. Come on, step on out for me. Step on back here. What's the matter today? Why are you not feeling well?
Oh, sick to my stomach and got a headache.
What's leaking out of the back of your van? What are you carrying?
I don't know what's in it. My boss just gives them to me and tells me to take them out by the lake and find some place secluded to dump them.
So you've got no paperwork, you don't know what you're carrying, and you're dumping it by the lake.
Like I said, my boss just gives them to me and tells me what to do, and I do it.
Headquarters start the fire department for a hazmat spill, EMS for exposure, and contact the Department of Environmental Quality. Let's move on back here so we're not exposed to this any further.
The illegal transportation of hazardous materials is not only dangerous to the driver, but to other drivers and pedestrians as well. Some substances, when mixed together, create toxic fumes which can be extremely dangerous and life-threatening. The commercial driver's license process requires all operators of trucks transporting hazardous materials to take a written test on the loading and transportation of these materials. Safety and accident awareness are a major part of that test. The proper transport of commercial hazardous waste always involves some sort of paperwork describing the waste being transported. For medium and large companies, a hazardous waste manifest is required. Smaller companies are sometimes allowed to transport hazardous waste using only a bill of lading. Unfortunately, some individuals will continue to transport the waste illegally to avoid the cost of properly disposing of it. This can be a felony violation of state as well as federal laws. As police officers, you should understand that the practice of unlawful transport can not only create the long-term problem of pollution, but also a short-term, more immediate problem, such as in this case where the driver was overcome by the toxic fumes. Officers should always consider that suspected hazardous materials can be dangerous to them and to the public. In this scenario, an officer is responding to a call involving potential hazardous waste being dumped into a stream. Let's pick up the action as he walks up to the scene.
How we doing today?
Morning.
Morning, State Game Warden. What are we dumping today?
Just getting rid of some water.
Water normally that color? That don't seem right.
It's got water and this and that.
This and that, okay. I'll tell you what, why don't you go ahead and shut that valve off for now until we can figure out what's going on here today. All right, so who you working for? Okay.
M&S Trucking.
M&S Trucking.
Tire.
Okay, M&S Trucking Tire, where are they out of?
Cleveland County.
Cleveland County, okay. You have some ID on you, sir?
Yeah.
All right. Mr. McDo, how you pronounce your first name?
Corley.
Corley, okay. All right, Corley. Well, like I said, this is not normal, so kind of got me suspicious here. Notice you don't have any placards displaying. What's in the tank?
We just don't use them.
Just don't use them? What about, you got paperwork or anything? Show what you're hauling?
We don't do that either.
Okay, and just never, or just a special deal?
Most of the time we don't.
Most of the time we don't? Okay, well, I'll tell you what, let's step back here to my truck and let's see if we can get a hold of your owner and figure out what you guys are hauling.
Okay.
Okay? Follow me.
Hey!
Nothing else on you we need to know about?
No.
Okay. We want to find it now before you get it into jail for another felony. Okay? So at this point, Mr. McDo, I'm placing you under arrest for unauthorized discharge of a pollutant into the waters of the state.
Oh.
Take you in and book you in, okay?
What about all them other guys?
Well, I got to deal with the one, I came across you today, so
Oh,
that's would be something you might want to talk to DA about. So, all right?
all right.
Okay. Go back here and get in the truck.
In this case, we have an illegal disposal of some kind of waste into a body of water. The Oklahoma Pollutant Discharge Elimination System Act prohibits the unpermitted discharge of pollutants into waters of the state, and knowing violations of this statute are felonies. If the substance turns out to be hazardous waste, the charge will be even more serious. Many people believe that whatever is dumped into the water will be diluted to an undetectable level. The fallacy in this is that more people that do this, the more pollutants end up in the water and the more toxic it becomes. For this reason, officers on patrol on both land and water should be watchful for disposal into Oklahoma waterways. In this scenario, an inspector notices some suspicious activity around a storm drain. Let's watch and see what happens.
Hey, let's go ahead and stop what we're doing real quick. My name's Nicholas Huber. I'm with the Department of Environmental Quality. Do we know what's in these barrels?
No, it's some old stuff we're trying to get rid of, make some room in the warehouse.
I mean, a sticker here says hazardous waste. We're not sure what's in there.
I have no idea.
Okay, well, let's go ahead and stop for now. What's your name?
Jeremy Lee.
Jeremy, if it's possible, could you go get your boss? We can kind of figure out what's going on here.
Yeah, he's in the office. I'll go run and get him.
Yeah, please.
All right, thanks.
Yeah, this is Nicholas. Can I talk to our criminal investigative unit? All right, thanks. I'll hold.
Many people mistakenly assume that anything that goes into a storm drain eventually drains into a wastewater treatment facility. Of course, that's where the sewage and other waste is treated before the resultant water is released back into the environment. However, in the vast majority of instances, storm drains lead not to a treatment plant, but directly to the nearest stream, which drains into the nearest river. Thus, any wastes dumped into storm drains end up directly in the environment, where they can negatively affect wildlife and can sometimes even affect our drinking water sources. For this reason, it is important to investigate any suspicious activity you see around sewers and drain lines. Dumping waste into a storm drain would typically be a felony violation under Oklahoma statute. In this scenario, an officer responds to a complaint of a roadside dump in a rural area. Let's watch and see how he handles it.
Good afternoon, Deputy Edwards with the Sheriff's Office. How can I help you?
Clint. Well, I was heading out to my favorite fishing spot, and I came across this trash that looked like somebody had dumped out here.
So you got here this morning and this is what you found? Was anybody driving away by chance when you pulled up or anything?
No, sir. You're the only person I've seen since I got here. So.
All right. If you could hang out just for a second, I'm going to go down here and see if possibly I can find some papers to help identify this trash.
Not a problem, sir.
Thank you.
Find anything useful, officer?
I believe so. I've got some correspondence with the individual's name and address on it. It's going to give me a good starting point.
That's great.
Hey, good afternoon. I'm Deputy Edwards with the Sheriff's Office.
Deputy Edwards?
How you doing? Are you Mr. Jones?
Yes, sir, I am.
Mr. Jones, is this 327 Oak Tree Lane?
Yes.
You do live here?
Yes, sir, I do.
All right, sir. What I'm doing is I found these documents along with several others in an illegal dump site not far from here. Did you have any idea how they got to be there?
Well, I didn't dump it. I had one of my buddies go and dump it.
You had a buddy go dump your trash there?
Yeah.
All right, sir. Well, unfortunately, you're held liable for that. Anything that transpires that way, you're responsible for it. So this is your mail, found it down in the dump site, and I'm going to have to issue you a citation for that.
Even though he just hauled it off? And
you are still liable for it because it's your mail, yes.
That ain't fair. Hasn't hurt nobody. But...
Well, you are responsible for it, and it's an illegal site, and it's an environmental hazard.
Mm-hmm.
Therefore, I am required to issue you a citation.
All right.
All right, if you can just wait right here for me, I'll be back in just a minute.
All right, I'll do that.
Mm-hmm.
Illegal dump sites are a real problem in rural Oklahoma. They're not just an eyesore. They can contaminate groundwater and public water supplies, leach toxins into the soil, and attract disease-carrying pests. Any officer who witnesses illegal dumping can issue a ticket on the spot. If the dump is discovered after the fact, as in this scenario, the discovery of 2 or more pieces of evidence with common addresses can be used to charge and prosecute anyone living at those addresses. Officers can choose to write a traffic citation or file an affidavit and charge the responsible parties with a misdemeanor. Another common problem in rural Oklahoma is open burning of wastes. Let's see how an officer responds to this kind of complaint.
Hello, officer. Thank you so much for coming.
Hello. Sure.
You can smell what I called for?
Yeah, I smell it.
So it's my next door neighbor, and he's burning his trash, and he does it every couple weeks. It smells like this for 2 days, and the real problem is my son has asthma, and this makes him really sick. He gets choked up. We end up going to the emergency room. Can you help? Can you do something?
Yeah, sure. I'll go have a talk with him.
All right, thank you.
How you doing?
Oh, pretty good so far.
Hey, I need you to go ahead and put the fire out. Received some complaints of smoke, burning trash. Okay?
Well, yeah, I've been burning a little bit of trash. It's just a little bit of smoke.
Yeah, you need to
So,
go ahead and put it out, though. We're getting some complaints. It's causing some problems.
I know who's complaining. She
Yeah.
complains about everything.
Yeah, but it's illegal. We can't burn in the county. It's illegal. You need to go ahead and put the fire out.
I can't burn on my own property.
No, you can burn campfire, but you can't burn trash.
Well, this is kind of a campfire, right? What if I just camp
No,
out
it's burning
beside it? Would
trash.
that be all right?
It stenches. It's not just wood burning. You got some trash in there burning, and it's causing some problems. Go ahead and put it out, sir.
I guess I can go and put it out, but in the future I can't burn anything out here.
Just campfire, just wood, no trash, no trash.
All right, I guess I can go and do that.
Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and issue a citation for burning.
I get a ticket on top of that
Yes,
too?
you do, sir.
This just ain't my day.
I need to see your driver's license.
In Oklahoma, people are legally allowed to burn brush, limbs, and other vegetative material that is generated on their property. But the open burning of household trash is illegal in areas where trash service is reasonably available. Unlike wood smoke, the smoke from burning trash carries carcinogens and toxins that can cause health problems for anyone who breathes it in. The ash contains the same pollutants. Finally, it can also exacerbate pre-existing health problems, such as asthma. In Oklahoma, unlawful open burning is a misdemeanor. Our last scenario involves burning copper wire, which poses many risks. Let's see how an officer might respond to this.
Hey, sir, how you doing today?
Oh, hey, okay.
All right. I got called out here for an obnoxious smell. What are you going to be burning today?
Just some household trash and stuff here.
Okay. I see a little bit of wire in there also.
Oh.
Did you burn that too?
I was wanting to get that insulation off. You take it.
Okay. Well, you know it's illegal to burn any kind of copper wire with insulation on it and household trash, correct?
No, I didn't know that.
Okay. The reason being is the copper wire, the insulation in it contains lead.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Okay. If you don't mind, I'm gonna try to get a sample and send it to DEQ.
Oh, okay, if you need to.
Okay.
People burn electrical wire so they can sell the copper as scrap metal. Oftentimes, the wire they burn is stolen wiring from a construction project or similar location, though proving that is often near impossible. However, suspects who quickly deny possessing stolen wire often freely admit to burning it to recover the copper. Burning copper wire is hazardous because the insulation contains lead and other toxins. When that insulation is burned off, much of the lead falls out in the ash, creating a toxic waste. This ash is usually left on the ground, where it can cause harm to animals and people, and even get washed into the nearest standing body of water. Those who burn wire can be charged with 2 crimes: the misdemeanor of unlawful open burning and the felony of unlawful disposal of hazardous waste. The scenarios presented here are intended to help law enforcement officials become familiar with environmental laws and how to enforce them. Your duty is to protect the public, and that can't be done without protecting the world we live in. Some people try to skirt the law in order to save money. It's your obligation to recognize these crimes and report them to the appropriate investigators, or to investigate them yourself so the responsible individuals can be prosecuted and the threat to the environment can be mitigated. It's important to understand that the long-term pollution of our environment can be disastrous for all of us.